Hello, I'm Benny Westside, and today we're actually going to talk about the new tech raid team, but this just happened right before I came to record, so I want to discuss this first. I just got to see Brie Larson. It was really awesome. It was like a Q&A at a local art house theater. I didn't get to meet her one-on-one, but she was super close to me. Like, she passed right by me. But anyway, that was just something that literally just happened. So I'm still riding that high. Anyway, let's get into it. Tech Raid Team. The team's name is Orchis, as you know, and in the nodes, in the current Orchis raid, I still think it's pretty stupid to name your raid after one of the teams. It's like having Death Seed raids or Rebirth raids, whatever. All right, Orchis. It's the new tech team. In the nodes, they're going to get boosts to their stats, barrier on spawn. I don't know if they're going to need it, but anyway. So there's going to be 3 new characters, Orchis, Sentinel, and Omega Sentinel, with reworks to Scientist Supreme and Lady Deathstrike. So without further ado, let's get into Nimrod. So these are my infographics. I will post them in the link. I'll post the links in the description below. I always try to put these out with character releases, and then later on I put out crash course infographics, which talk about how to build them. Those come out closer to the characters' respective releases. In this box up here in this corner, I usually put their gear for the newest Dark Dimension. Unfortunately, for these characters, we don't know their gear yet. I have it for the reworks because obviously we already have it in the game. But these characters, the new ones, I don't have it. If by the time the embargo lifts, I get that, I'll update the graphics and post it as such. But I don't think so. But I have started adding this ISO 8 icon. So Nimrod is a blaster because the newest Dark Dimension, DD8, is going to focus on who's a blaster, who's a protector, so their classes and not their gear. Anyway, okay, let's get into it. Nimrod. Nimrod is a blaster. The whole team is villain, global, and tech. So let's start. I also don't have ability icons, so what you're seeing are ability icons from Annihilators. Alright. Nimrod passive, Sentient Sentinel. On kill, gain stealth. While this character has stealth, gain damage and crit damage. Gain 10% speed for each summoned tech ally, up to a maximum of 50%, so up to 5 tech summons. We have a team member who does summon, but this will also work with characters like Doom or Ultron. Who else summons a tech character? Ronan the Accuser? Maybe not. Alright. In raids, Orchis allies gain 10% speed for each summoned tech ally, up to a maximum of 50%. This is actually really big because these characters don't necessarily have that high speed stats, so this really helps. In raids, on successful attack by this character or any Orchis ally, apply heal block to each attacked target. That's nice. In raids, if this character has 4 or more Orchis allies, it doesn't specify summoned or non-summoned, any 4 Orchis allies, lower the dodge chance of all enemies by 100%. Alright, it's brief, but it packs a punch. Alright, he's going to start with a special Future Blitz, attack all enemies for piercing, flip all positive effects, and then he gains more piercing per Sentinel reinforcement. Those are the summons. Apply ability block to primary. In raids, apply stun to primary, and apply ability block to all mutants. This attack cannot be dodged. And then his turn 2, eradicate. Attack primary and adjacent for damage. Apply defense down for 2 turns. Disrupted for 2 turns. In raids, this gains 100% crit chance against mutant enemies. I think this is kind of flavor stuff against mutants. I don't know how impactful that's going to be. I mean, there is a North Star, I think, in each tech node, and he's pretty awful. So killing him quickly will help, but yeah. And this attack is unavoidable. Alright, and then his basic, attack primary and adjacent for damage, apply defense down for 2 turns. This is unavoidable, that's nice. Unavoidable basic is really nice. And then the ISO attack also applies 2 turns of defense down and is also unavoidable. His kit is pretty standard. His base speed is 120. With that 50%, he can go up to 180 speed, which is nice. And for himself, it's in any game mode, but the part where it applies to allies is only in raid. I expect this guy to do a lot of damage. He must have a very high damage stat because that's kind of all he does. He has some ability block and then defense down, but most of the things he does is about damage and increasing damage. Alright, let's talk about Sentinel. The Sentinel reinforcements that were in Nimrod's kit, where he gets additional piercing, are Sentinel's summons. So Sentinel is a protector, and yeah, let's start looking at his passive. Mutant Hunter. On spawn and on revive, summon 1 Sentinel reinforcement ally. He has 2 possible summons. One's a reinforcement gun, one's a reinforcement sword. On this character's first turn, gain taunt and apply safeguard for 2 turns to self and all Orchis allies. Again, doesn't specify summoned or non-summoned, so he's going to safeguard all of them. In raids, if this character has 4 or more Orchis allies, enemies cannot gain death proof. That's very nice, especially into those Sasquatches who spawn with safeguard and then keep replenishing it. That's going to be nice. Alright, ultimate, elimination protocol. Summon 1 reinforcement gun and 1 reinforcement sword ally. So we're up to 3 summons on the board right now, right? He summoned 1 on spawn and then 2 on his ultimate. Attack primary and adjacent targets for damage and apply offense down. As a protector, applying offense down, thematic. This attack gains 50% damage per Sentinel reinforcement ally. So if it's just the ones he newly summoned and the one from spawn, then he gets 150% added damage. This attack is unavoidable. Alright, his special, neutralize target. Summon 1 random reinforcement ally. Attack primary target for damage. Bonus attack 3 times for damage. Apply defense up for 2 turns and 2 deflect to self and all Orchis allies. It's alright, applying defense up and deflect. And then his basic, attack primary for damage and apply offense down. Apply counter to self and all Orchis. And his ISO attack also applies counter to self and all Orchis allies. It's not the most impressive kit. We're going to look at the summons in a moment. He has 107 speed, so with Nimrod's passive, that can go up to 162, 63, something like that, only in raids. Or with speed up, he can reach that, but yeah, he's pretty slow. But as a team, they're going to function well, I think. Alright, let's look at the summons. So the gun one is a blaster, obviously. On spawn, flip all negative effects for self and all Orchis allies. In raids, on turn, generate 1 ability energy for a random, non-summoned tech ally that is not at full energy. In raids, on turn, if a Sentinel ally has died, revive him, and then kill self. So he kills himself, and I think it's more like he turns into Sentinel, like thematically. But yeah, he kills himself and then summons a Sentinel, or revives Sentinel. I think the logic of it is like, you know how in the movie, like they would kill an Ultron, but like one of the other Ultrons would become the main Ultron. I think it's more like that. And then in raids, on non-summoned tech ally turn, fill speed bar by 50%, by 5% for self. That's nice. So like every time one of the main characters takes a turn, it's nice. All right. His basic attack primary and adjacent. In raids, rewind by 10%. In raids, he's also going to gain taunt on his basic. His ISO and assist also rewinds by 10%. Both of the summons have 107 speed, same speed set as Sentinel Prime. Alright. Oh no, you saw the backstage. Alright, Sword is a brawler. On spawn, apply deflect to self on all Orchis allies. So the gun was cleansing, this one's applying deflect. And then the rest of it is the same. In raids on turn, generate 1 ability energy for a non-summoned tech ally. And then if on his turn, if there's a dead Sentinel ally, he revives him and then kills himself. And then he also gains that speed bar. And then on his basic, he's going to attack primary only for damage. In raids only, he's going to flip 2 buffs into debuffs and apply bleed, and then he also gains taunt on his basic. His ISO also has the buff flip in raids. They're decent. They're definitely not the best summons we've seen, but they're pretty good. I like the speed bar mechanics. It's alright. They lose most of what they do outside of raids, but it is what it is. He's slow. There's nothing to be said about it. This is not a character we're going to see off of his team. I don't think so. Outside of raids, will he get subbed out? I don't think so. We have some callouts to tech summons in some of the other kits. If he gets subbed out for Doom or something, I'd be interested to see that in play. We have not yet tested this team. This embargo was kind of a quick one, but anyway. I'm just glad I was able to get you these graphics. And as I told you, they have like the ability icons for the Annihilators. Anyway, so he's not great. Nimrod, will he see solo play? No. He might see play. He might like. I mean, how often do we use Doom? You know, I was gonna say maybe we can use him with Doom, but like we don't use Doom that much. We do sometimes, but not that frequent. With only 6 rooms in Crucible, I think this team is more of a 5 lock, maybe 4 lock, but yeah, you're not gonna see Nimrod much off of his team. Sentinel ever, I don't think we're gonna see off his team. Like he has a taunt and safeguard, but once in a match, and it's like on his first turn. 1, he could get disrupted by then. 2, he's so slow that by the time he gets to it, anyway, I don't know. And then the bot revives only in raid, so that's gone. The rewind's only in raid. Not the best. All right, but the team does have a linchpin that just makes them insane. Anyway, Omega Sentinel. She is the support character. Alright. Passive. Living Sentinel. It's not the Gore passive. It's the Omega Sentinel passive. On turn and on each summoned tech ally's turn. Again, tech summons. Heal self and each Orchis ally for 10% of this character's max health. If any Orchis ally was already at max health, then she's going to bury them. I think this is cool. It's like the heal doesn't go to waste. If they had added something about if they have heal block, also apply barrier, that would have been perfect. But I think this is fine. On mutant enemy turn end, attack the most injured enemy for 100% damage. In raids, it's increased. On death, 30% chance to revive with 30% max health. In raids, the chance and the revive health percentage increases per tech ally, and she can go up to 100% revive chance if there's 2 bots on the field. In raids, if this character does not have ability block, this character or Orchis allies cannot gain slow. That's really nice. If this character has 4 or more Orchis allies in raid, enemy characters cannot gain defense up. That's very solid. That's really good. And then in raids, lower max barrier of all enemies by 20%. That's decent. You might know I hate seeing a Hulkbuster on a raid or a Dark Dimension team, or like what do you call it, node, because of the barrier. So I like the reduction on barrier. All right, it is sad that so much of this kit is tied to raids, but it is what it is. Attack ultimate. Attack all enemies for 170% piercing. Bonus attack all enemies for the same amount of piercing. Apply stun for 2 turns to 2 random tech enemies. The fact that you can't target this, I think, is really annoying. Like, Ironheart has 1 targeted stun and then 2 random stuns, but this you can't target. Outside of raid, especially, because in raids it's like to all tech, but like, what if I want to stun Northstar, you know? It's weird, I don't know. And if you're facing like a team of 5 tech characters in Crucible, which, I mean, there aren't that many tech characters, right? Maybe that's mood. Anyway, alright. Heal self and all, maybe the mirror, I don't know. Heal self and all allies for 15% of this character's max health. Heal Orchis allies for more. This attack is unavoidable. Unavoidable stun, but like untargetable stun. Anyway, special 3 energy. Cyborg Assault. Attack primary target for damage. Apply regen to self and all Orchis. Apply defense up and speed up to self and all tech. That's nice. In raids, apply defense up for 2 turns, speed up for 2 turns, and offense up for 2 turns to self and all Orchis. Heal self and all allies. Heal Orchis allies for more. 3-turn cooldown. Alright. Omega Beatdown. This is her basic. Attack primary target for damage. Rebound chain to 3 adjacent targets for more damage. In raids, it's even more damage. And then apply regeneration for 2 turns to self and all Orchis allies. Counterattack breaks this chain. This attack is unavoidable. Year 1, this was an ultimate ability, and then more. Like, Deadpool's ultimate was this without the regens. All he did was rebound chain, and his wasn't unavoidable. So, I mean, it's a cool basic, but it's not much more than damage. There's regens. The ISO attack also applies regens for self and Orchis allies, and it's 2 turns. She has 125 speed, so she's a little better. Does it mean we're gonna see her solo? I don't think so. I don't think so. Like, in a pinch, if you don't have any character to crit before Cabal, maybe. But I think even then, Zemo's a better choice. Because he's just gonna go faster. Anyway. She's a team member. That's what it is. So, yeah. Let's look at the reworks. Scientist Supreme. She is the linchpin of this team. And, oh, guys, you have no idea. We almost had another Vulture tier rework, but we're going to talk about it in a bit. And her solo value got axed a little bit. But anyway, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Let's get into it. Passive, Mad Science. On spawn, gain 50% speed bar. No conditions. That's so good. We're going to talk about her abilities in a bit, but you're going to see why that's amazing. In raids, on spawn, generate 3 energy for self. In raids on spawn, generate 3 special energy for all Orchis allies. All of our team members, their specials cost 3. So this just means, or this costs 4, but an ability that costs 4, if it was at 0 and you give 3, on turn he's gonna gain that energy and he's still gonna get to go. So she's guaranteeing that every time you spawn into a raid node, they're at least gonna have their specials. On turn, generate 2 energy for all AIM and Orchis allies with a negative effect. Nowadays, it's tough not to have a negative effect on you. So, and this is not tied to raids. That's awesome. On turn, 25% chance to revive an ally with 30% max health. This is kind of a remnant from her original kit. I'm not certain if she can revive summons. Nobu can revive summons. With her, I'm not sure. And I feel like this might also sometimes proc after she dies. Maybe they fixed it, but this is like a powerful revive. It's nice. Anyway, the more recent revives are more sterile, like they're very defined. This one bends the rules a bit. That's why I'm not certain exactly. Anyway, on ally summon, generate 1 ability energy for all Orchis allies. So much energy. On ally summon, any ally summon. So like you could bring Hela, and every time Greg comes, she's gonna flood the team with energy. In raids, this character and Orchis allies cannot gain trauma. This is amazing, especially with those North Stars flying around. And then in raids, mutant and bio enemies cannot gain immunity. That's also great. Alright, just every time we go through this kit, keep in mind 50% speed bar on spawn in any game mode. Alright, ultimate, retro vaccination. Heal self and all allies. In raids, heal a little more. I don't know why that needed to be separated for 10% more damage. Alright. This is what breaks my heart. For all enemies and all non-aim, non-Orchis allies, apply offense down for 2 turns, defense down for 2 turns, slow for 2 turns, and in raids apply trauma. The first time we saw this kit, it didn't have the clause about the allies. Apparently it was like a copy paste error. So they told us. But I was raving about it for a night, and then in the morning the glass shattered. I was bummed. But Matt Sheets, this is not the first time you broke my heart. It's not the worst time you broke my heart. Like if she didn't do it to allies, we could use her plug and play to come in, spawn with 50% speed bar, apply slow, defense down, offense down to the enemy field. In any game mode. Like that's berserk to me. I guess it would have been broken if they didn't put that in there. That like she was gonna be maybe even better than Vulture tier, but anyway, okay. I got retrospective. Apply speed up for 2 turns to self and all Orchis allies. That's nice. So in any game mode, when you're using the full team, 50% speed bar on spawn, slow to everybody, not to your team because she doesn't apply to Orchis, and speed up to her team. So that's a big advantage to have over a competitive 5v5 game mode. I suspect this team will do really well in war, especially. Crucible, we shall see, because it's less rooms. Um, like it gets really competitive, but I think this team might be pretty good there because with that 50% speed stat from the speed up, and then Nimrod's gonna give him 10% more. Sentinel can go pretty quickly and get that safeguard up on top of this speed up. Things could get nice. I wish we could have tested this. Anyway, I think that's gonna be really nice. Alright, this attack is unavoidable and gains extra focus. Alrighty, now let's look at our special. This special still keeps our plug and play value, in my opinion, because it's also ready on turn 1. Flip all negative effects into positive effects on self and all allies. For self and all AIM and Orchis allies, apply regen, immunity, and then increase the duration of all buffs. So she could theoretically, she might be the first to go after Sentinel, which would mean she would extend the safeguards on the team. That's pretty sick. Yeah, that's nice. All right, and then she's gonna heal self and all allies. So in my mind, this is really effective into things like security or reactor, where your team's gonna spawn with defense down or disrupt. So she can go in, get 50% speed bar, and flip all of that. I think that's awesome. That still gives her some plug and play viability. It can work into teams that apply debuffs on spawn. Off the top of my head, I can't put my finger on it. Like, I know, for example, like Morbius, right? He applies blind on spawn. Not that you're ever gonna face that, but like that's what comes to my mind off the top of my head. Omega Red does it, but he also applies trauma. In the comments, please remind me if you can think of other characters that apply debuffs on spawn where this special can be useful. Let's look at the basic, and then I'm going to rave about her for another moment. Basic, Serum Pistol, attack primary target for damage, apply offense down, defense down, and slow. This is unavoidable. Wow. The ISO attack, we don't know. I think she also applies all of that, and I would assume it's also unavoidable, but anyway, that's nice. Alright, so let me rave. Baby girl's gonna spawn 50% speed bar, slow everywhere, speed up to the whole team, right? This is a 3-turn cooldown ability. And Omega, or what's his name? Sentinel's, like the whole team's gonna go, Sentinel's gonna go, apply safeguard. He's gonna use his special or his ultimate, and he's gonna summon. So she's gonna generate 1 ability energy. Then she takes her turn. It's her special. Also on a 3-turn cooldown. She extends everything, which means they still have 1 stack of speed up left from her first turn. So they're back up to 2 turns of speed up. And she's also basically put up 2 turns of immunity. She's extending the safeguard. And then Sentinel takes another turn, summons yet again. Now she has put up another ability energy, and then once she takes her next turn, she can ult once again and apply speed up, apply all those debuffs to the enemy. She's going to be a monster. She is for sure the linchpin of this team. And the best part of it, she doesn't even need to have stats for it. Like, if you need to skimp out a little bit on gear and levels, you can skimp out on her because she's so kit-based. She's a support character through and through. Of course, having stats on her will improve her survivability and her heals, but the main heals come from this young lady. So, you mostly want her to be survivable, which for that you could use Fortifier, Or for her focus, you could use Skirmisher, again, if you're underbuilding her. But if you've built her big, she could be a healer and just be insane. I think she's awesome. Like, on the team, she is insane. Off the team, I think she's more like Mysterio tier, maybe? I don't know. Um, we don't use Mysterio off the team. What's a good rework comparison for this? Maybe not right now. I don't know. She's good. Like, yeah, she's good. And then, like, you could use her with a team that either has immunity or metabolizes the debuffs, something like that. Or maybe, like, you could use her to trigger a Super Skrull because she's applying debuffs to the team. There might be niche uses of that, but, like, off the team, you're really incentivized not to use her ult. But the special can have nice uses. Yeah, I mean, on the team, she's going to be so good. Yeah. 50% speed bar on spawn in any game mode, that's already pretty awesome. Alright, okay. Now, finally, let's talk about Lady Deathstrike. Oh, sorry, one last thing. She takes Tesseract, which is the same as Forge and Zombie Juggernaut, and she takes three sets of tech. Alright, Lady Deathstrike. She did not get much. Her stats got jacked all the way to current meta stats. Same with Scientist Supreme. But her kit got like very minor touch-ups. On her special, she would reset when she got a kill. Now she repeats the attack regardless. That's really nice. And then on her ultimate, she had a clause where if she had 3 Weapon X allies, her attack couldn't be countered. Now that applies if she also has 3 Orchis allies. And again, it doesn't specify if that is summoned or non-summoned. She's always had an amazing kit. She has 127 speed, which makes her really freaking awesome. She had just fallen off of the meta because of her stats getting outcrept. Now she's back. She's gonna be insane. I think she will work really well with Cabal, Old Man Logan, Robbie Reyes, Hive Mind. Hive Mind. Void Knight's gonna pull everybody together, then she's gonna rewind. Mwah. Like, what else do you want? Cabal, obviously, super early, critting a lot. Robbie bleeds, Logan bleeds. She's so good. I think she's an amazing top tier choice for Dark Dimension 7 right now. If you still have not completed your global team, take her. I would, like, especially with Cabal, she's gonna enable them so well, and benefit from them. She's gonna be good. And I would probably say drop Black Knight in lieu of her, and still bring Nightcrawler. But yeah, it's up to you. We'll talk more about Dark Dimension prospects, but I will say she is cheap. She does take Adamantium, which Logan also takes, so keep that in mind. But it's not that hard to take 2 of the same. I took 2 Adamantium on my first run, so you can probably take both of them. I would definitely recommend. And then the rest of them, these new ones, I would maybe Omega Sentinel because she can sustain herself a bit, and she's faster. But Sentinel, no, dead weight. Nimrod, dead weight. One thing, if you take all 5, solved, done. But that's 5 tech characters in one section. So if you can do 5 skill in city and 5 tech here, all the power. Then you can do bio, mutant, and mystic in the other section. But the problem is you need Scientist Supreme to make the new ones good. But that means you're disincentivized from bringing any other characters because she's gonna be debuffing, and slow in Dark Dimension Global is a death sentence. Defense down in Dark Dimension is a death sentence. So you don't want that on your team. That's why, like, the 5-piece, yes. Like, if you can't do like a Lady Deathstrike, Nimrod, Scientist Supreme, because then the 2 other characters are getting nerfed. Could you do like Sentinel, Nimrod, LDS? But who's gonna sustain them? Sentinel, Omega, Sentinel, LDS? Maybe? There's no speed, like, you can't, like, Sentinel without Scientist Supreme is gonna be just so slow. Anyway, we'll discuss this more in the crash courses, along with ISO options. By that time, hopefully, I will have gotten a chance to test these characters. So do watch out for those. Those are going to be individual videos per character, as well as infographics. These infographics that we went through are going to be linked below. The photo of Brie Larson will not be. I think that's about it. It's already been almost a 40-minute video. Please, 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 in the comments, remind me of any characters that apply debuffs on spawn. I do want to get a good picture of what Scientist Supreme's solo viability is going to be. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for going over Orchis with me. I hope to see you in the next one.